We're now going to take a look at something called compound interest. Now, simple interest is the other type of interest you may have heard of. Simple interest is a situation in which, whether you're earning interest or paying interest, interest is just calculated basically one time for a period. With compound interest, that a common example is like a CD or certificate of deposit, where if you look at a CD sort of over a timeline, perhaps, let's say we were to put $100 in the bank and you're getting paid maybe 10% interest monthly. Well, at the end of the first month, what's going to happen is the $100 is going to get multiplied by 10%, giving you $10 in interest. So that when you reach the end of the second month, you're going to earn 10% again, but not on the original $100. You're going to earn interest on $110, which is your original $100 plus the $10 that you earned interest on, that you got from interest last time. So as you can see, as we keep doing this multiplication, the amount of interest you earn each time goes up, because you're earning interest not just on the original 100, but on the interest you earned last time. So you would go to the end of the third month with $121. Now, as you can see, this technique of finding interest could take a while if you wanted to put money in the bank for a number of years, because you'd have to figure your money every month or every period. A period can be monthly, yearly, quarterly, which is every 3 months, weekly, even daily. So for a 30-year investment compounded monthly, 30 years times 12 months a year, that's 360 calculations you'd have to make to figure out what your interest was at the end of those 30 years. So we have a formula. Basically, we have a S meaning future value, as in how much money you have grand total in the future, is equal to P times, where P is the principal, or the amounts you have at present, P times 1 plus R, where R is your rate, to the T power. Now, of course, this formula is designed to work with a yearly rate and T being the number of years. But as you know, interest isn't always yearly. So we can update this formula a little bit and say that S equals P times 1 plus, and if we're assuming that we're going to calculate interest something other than yearly, then we're going to have, instead of an R, we're going to have an R over N, where the N is the number of calculations per year. And for the power, it's going to be N times T, again, because you're going to possibly calculate interest more than once a year. So, for example, if we wanted to take $10,000, so we'll let P equal $10,000, put it in the bank for 5 years, so T equal 5, at an interest rate of 10%, so R would equal 10%, and therefore we want to calculate our interest monthly. So for monthly, N would equal 12. So using the second formula, which allows you to calculate more than once a year, we would have S equaling 10,000 times 1 plus 0.10 over 12 to the power 12 times 5. So that's what the formula would look like. Now we can do a little bit of simplification here in our head. We really don't have to do much in our head. That's going to be a 1 plus 0.10 over 12 to the 60th power. Alright, now going to the calculator, we've got 10,000, then the parentheses, the 1 plus, and remember it was a 0.10 for 10%, divided by 12 for 12 months in a year. Close the parentheses. The caret is your power symbol, and it was 60th power. And that's roughly, to the nearest penny, $16,453. So it turns out to be $16,453.09. So as you can see, compound interest can build up quite quickly. This 10,000 turned into over 16,000 in just 5 years, basically. So this is basically how the formula works. Let's try one more calculation. Let's say that we wanted to invest, let's say $15,000 this time, for 3 years at 8%, and we want to do our compounding quarterly. So for a quarterly compounding, quarterly means 4 times a year, so the N would equal 4, and of course that implies every 3 months. So our S would be equal to 15,000 times 1 plus, our rate would be a 0.08 over 4. Power would be, for the N is 4 times the T, which is 3. So this is 15,000 times 1 plus 0.08 over 4 to the 12th power. All right, and when we go back to the calculator, we start off with the 15,000, parentheses, the 1 plus the 0.08 divided by 4, close the parentheses, to the power 12, and that's $19,023 and 63 cents when we take it to the nearest penny. Now, there's another way to do this. This is doing it with pencil and paper calculator using the formula. The TI calculator actually has a financial menu built into it, which can do a lot of these things for you. If we go in to the calculator and we look at the math button, and actually probably an easier way to do this would go under apps. Yeah, let's go under apps. There it is. Under apps, option number 1 is finance, and option number 1 there is TVM Solver, and the TVM Solver is what we want to use. And the N's and so on and so forth in this are a little bit different. The N for us is number of periods. So let's come up with a new example. Let's say we wanted to take some money and invest it for 20 years, and we want to compound our interest every 6 months. So that's 20 years twice a year. On the calculator, that's a 20 times 2. So that's 40 times your money is going to be compounded. Alright, and let's say our interest is 10%. On the calculator, that goes in under interest as a 10. Alright, now PV is present value. So if we're going to put $30,000 into this investment, then that would go in as 30,000. Oops, too many zeros. Now, the next line calls for payments, and of course we're not making payments on an investment, and future value is what we're going to find in just a second. P/Y is the number of payments per year, which we're not doing. C/Y is the number of times you compound a year. And these two usually need to match. So I notice that when I put a 2 in for one of them, when I hit enter, it puts in a 2 for both of them. Because again, the calculator knows they usually need to match. Now, so N would be years times period. Would be periods because it's years times 2. Interest rate is 10%. Present value, no payments. Future value is what we want. So I go up to where it says future value. Then I hit alpha, enter, and it gives me the dollar figure. And of course, it's giving me a negative number because I put money in, and when I cash this in, money will be coming out. So basically, $30,000 at 10%, 40 periods twice a year becomes $211,199.66. So using, one more time, going into this, going apps, finance, TVM solver gets you to a spot where you can do all kinds of financial calculations.